And now, back to Primetime News with your host, Brian Garcia.
Hello again, I'm Brian Garcia with more of today's top stories. A local middle school girl won the Regional Science Fair contest for her project on the effects of silicone on dental hygiene. She will now compete in next week's national competition to be held in Washington, D.C. An epidemic of appalling proportions has arisen at a dormitory named Toyon Hall at Stanford University. Officials say the Toyonic Plague has affected more than 100 students last month alone and is continuing to spread throughout campus. We now go to Primetime News correspondent Kate Kingsley, who has more on this developing story. Kate?
Thanks, Brian. I'm here in Toyon Hall at Stanford University, where it is believed this plague started. Over 100 residents of the storm have contracted a serious virus that has been spreading uncontrollably for several weeks. With symptoms similar to the avian flu and SARS, this outbreak could very likely pose a serious threat to the Bay Area and quite possibly the western U.S. if not treated promptly. The on-campus hospital, Vaden Health Center, is giving little help as they are handing out lollipops to the affected victims. Vaden clinicians claim that lollipops fixed their boo-boos when they got hurt, and it is only fair that they do their part to help out. The Toyonic Plague grew so serious that the FDA mandated all affected students of the virus to wear a T on their clothing at all times. Although this is a good safety measure for the health of the Stanford community, it has caused much grief among the affected student population. It was later discovered that the Toyonic Plague was an airborne virus. The identifying letter on the student's chest has alienated them from being able to do the activities they used to be able to do, such as hang out with friends, work on problem sets together, and go to professors' office hours. Professor E.G. Shepard of the University of California, Berkeley, has this to say about the virus.
We have made a lot of efforts to come up with a cure for this horrible epidemic. However, we have been unable to procure a rat model to test our vaccine. We have just got to be patient.
I was able to catch up with some of the 6 students to ask them how the Toyonic Plague has affected their lives. So, how do you think you came down with the virus?
I think I got it from Zelda.
Zelda?
Yeah. Princess of the Hyrule Kingdom.
Is this some sort of video game?
Not to me.
I think it was from this party I went to. I was really out of it, and I saw this guy who was dancing by himself, and he was kind of cute. He was wearing this big T around his neck, so I figured his name started with the T, and I thought it was really sexy that he had the necklace on. So I started dancing with him, and the next thing I knew, I was in the hospital. It was really weird. But I have his T now, so I think we had a special connection. Oh.
Paranoia has infiltrated the student population. So to this day, the original cause of the Toyonic Plague remains a mystery. Doctors are warning students to wash their hands thoroughly and watch out for others wearing a T on their chest. That's all for me. Back to you in the studio, Brian.
Thank you, Kate, for that very informative report. Tell me more about this T on the people's chest. Are you saying the FDA actually forced these students to wear it at all times?
That's correct.
Isn't there some law against that, like cruel and unusual punishment?
All I do is report the laws, Brian. I don't make them.
Okay, well, we appreciate your wonderful report on the Toyonic Plague, Kate. Thank you for actually taking the risk of going on Stanford's campus to bring us the story.
My pleasure, Brian.
And it appears that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you join us again tomorrow for more of Primetime News. I'm Brian Garcia. Good night.